Hi, Mr Abbott. My name is Ron Mitchell. I'm a retired person. Mr Abbott, I'm quite concerned. You seem to have avoided some of the bigger issues of the campaign. You've avoided an economic debate with Julia Gillard. You didn't appear at your own broadband announcement, and you weren't there for the release of your costings this afternoon. If you have dodged these issues as opposition leader, what confidence can I have that you could deal with them as Prime Minister? Or is Malcolm Fraser right that you are not ready for government?
You sound like someone who's made up his mind, Ron, and you're entitled to make up your mind.
I wouldn't rely on that.
All right, well, let's see if I can persuade you. Look, Ron, I trust my shadow ministers. I trust my shadow treasurer. I trust my shadow minister for finance to release a costings document. And you know, when Treasurer Wayne Swan released the pre-election financial outlook document, Julia Gillard was nowhere to be seen. So if she wasn't there when Wayne Swan makes costings announcements, why is it somehow a problem if I'm here talking to you rather than in Melbourne to hold people's hands? The other point I'd make is that at least I know who my Minister for Finance would be if there was a coalition government. The Prime Minister, unfortunately, can't tell you who her Finance Minister will be post-election. She can't tell you who her Defence Minister would be post-election, and she can't tell you who her Foreign Minister will be post-election, although there may well have been a deal with Kevin, although Kevin's not actually answering any questions. He's just making pronouncements and then leaping into the car before any questions are put to him. On the subject of an economic debate, I debate the economy every day, Ron. I debate the economy every day. I gave the Prime Minister a chance last night to come to the ABC studios in Sydney and debate me. You know what she was doing? She was sitting in a plane on the tarmac at Sydney Airport. She flew from Queensland down to Sydney, presumably because she wanted to debate me. She must have got cold feet. Something must have happened because she never left the airport, and then she took off for Perth later on. But I gave her that chance. I think tonight my job is to talk to you.
Why do you, the Liberal Party, keep pushing the boat people issue? 3,000 people coming into this country. We have, in this country, about 750,000 people that are treated as second-class citizens. Now, we're spending a lot of money on these boat people, and out of that 750,000, I'm talking about the Aboriginal people here, there are probably between 20 and 50,000 of them don't even speak English.
Well, Philip, I appreciate the question on Indigenous disadvantage, and I'll deal with that in a second. But on the boat people, I have no desire to talk about boat people, and I wouldn't talk about boat people except for the fact that the boats keep coming. I mean, that's the problem, Philip. And I know you'll say, but there are people who are here illegally in this country who don't come by boat, and you're absolutely right. But there's a world of difference between someone who comes to this country safely with documentation by air and someone who comes to this country unsafely without documentation by boat. And I think people are right to feel that we are not doing ourselves justice when people can just rock up on our shores from anywhere and when they feel that people smugglers have taken over a component of our immigration program. So that's why I talk about it. And I didn't talk about it when the boats weren't coming, and I only started talking about it again when the policy changed and the boats started coming again. Now, as for Indigenous disadvantage, look, I take this very seriously, and I reckon that the gutsiest, the most visionary, the most imaginative policy thinker in our country at this time, and has been for at least a decade, is Noel Pearson. And I have tried not just to read Noel's stuff, but to kind of live the reforms that he wants to see. I spent 3 weeks as a teacher's aide up at Cowan in Cape York in 2008. And last year I spent 10 days in Arakoon as a kind of assistant truancy officer to try to understand better what's happening in remote Indigenous places. And there are good things happening, there are bad things happening, but what we've got to do is give back to Aboriginal people the right to take responsibility. And the payments that I announced yesterday, the relocation payments, the commitment bonuses for young people who take jobs and keep them, they are designed with Aboriginal people in mind. Noel Pearson is the inspiration for those policies. And again, I don't pretend that there's a magic wand or a silver bullet, but we've got to do better. And certainly any government that I lead would never cease from trying to do a better deal for the first Australians.